With the finale of Game of Thrones this week, I thought I'd talk about some other TV shows and how they ended, particularly the ones that ended in a bad or controversial way. So this is my list of the worst TV show endings ever, from best to worst, ranked. It should be noted that as of recording, I haven't seen the season finale of Season 8 of Game of Thrones yet, so maybe that show should be on this list, maybe it shouldn't, I don't know yet. It should also be noted that all the shows on this list are ones that I have seen, so if there's a particular show you've got in mind that should be on this list, it doesn't necessarily mean that I disagree with you, it's just that I might not have seen it. And as you could probably expect, there will be spoilers.
You're spoiling it! You're spoiling everything!
How do you end a show about a serial killer? One might suspect that you end it by having the serial killer get what's coming to him. Perhaps he's killed himself, or perhaps he's caught and arrested. Not in Dexter, though. So how did Dexter end? Well, after a boring series that dived into his psychology and his parenthood, Dexter took his sister out into a storm at sea, killing her.
I'm broken.
You're not. I am.
It felt forced, it was unnecessary, and it was just a little bit stupid. And to top it all off, we then got a flash forward into the future showing us that Dexter somehow survived the storm and was now living life as a lumberjack.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
So this all amounted to essentially being pointless.
And they all look just the same.
Weeds was great for about 3 seasons. Then it changed location, darkened its tone, and it lost all of its charm. Throughout its later run, it did try to course correct a few times, particularly in the final season when it moved back to its original location, but that just wasn't enough. At that point, the characters were just annoying and the show just wasn't funny anymore, and it was a comedy, so that's a pretty big problem. The finale then done the age-old trick of jumping forward, doing a flash forward, showing us what happened to the characters. Some of them had success, others just meandered. At the end of the day, at that point, we didn't really care about the characters. In fact, most of the characters I just hated.
And if you want me, you better speak up. I won't wait. So you better move fast.
True Blood, like a lot of the shows on this list, dropped in quality throughout its run. By the end, it was damn near unwatchable, but damn it, I had to know what happened to Suki.
Oh, Suki, can I take you away? Oh, Suki, you ever been to LA? Oh, Suki, come and play on my team, we'll do it in the daytime, Bill won't know a thing.
Now, I wish I didn't know. It ended in a stupid, nonsensical way by having Suki kill the love of her life. Why? Because he asked her to. It didn't make sense. Why did she have to kill Bill? Like seriously, if you were deeply in love with someone, would you be willing or open to the idea of killing that someone? It was just odd and bizarre, and it felt a really forced way of ending the show. And then guess what? It done a time jump. Yep, the time jump here went forward, showing us all of characters living happily together in all that happily ever after fantasy crap that we usually get. To say that True Blood ended in a disappointment is an understatement, but hey, at least it ended. How I Met Your Mother is a comedy that I really did not like, and yet I watched every episode of it. How strange is that? The final season featured an overly long, drawn-out wedding, perhaps one of the longest in history. The 2 best characters on the show were getting married, that's Robin and Barney, and guess what? By getting married, they were utterly destroying their characters. Then, at long last, they finally introduced the mother we had all been waiting to see. Then they killed her.
And that, kids, is how I met your mother.
That's it.
Yep, the mother we had all been waiting to see showed up, died, and then it was revealed, oh no, Robin was actually kind of the mother anyway. Yeah. What was the point in all of that? It was a bait and switch to something everyone already kinda predicted. And in the process, it ruined all the character developments and storylines leading up to that point. A twist for the sake of a twist isn't very good. The original British version of Mad Dogs was a cool, interesting little show about a group of friends going on holiday only to get caught up in crime, murder and mystery. It had a good mix of dark comedy and drama and action even, and as it progressed it kept getting better and better. Then, 5 minutes before the very end of the very last episode, instead of keeping with the tone, instead of being original and unique and interesting and actually wrapping things up, no, the creators went all artsy-fartsy. Instead of giving us some sort of sensible, logical resolution and closure, what happened was the four main characters got in the car, drove down the road, only to then see mirror images of themselves driving alongside them. What did it all mean? It was weird, it left things up for interpretation, and it felt totally out of place with everything that had come before it. This is one of the more disappointing entries on this list, simply because up until the very last 5 minutes, everything was pretty darn good.
Stop whining. It's much more interesting than your average holiday.
2.5 Men is a comedy show I never liked. I saw a lot of the Charlie Sheen episodes, but not a single one of the Ashton Kutcher episodes, except for the finale. So how did it end? Well, someone looking like Charlie Sheen walks up to the house, knocks on the door, and oh, a piano drops on his head. Yep, Charlie Sheen was not in fact returning. He wasn't making a big miraculous return to the show we all loved him in. No, instead it was just another dig at him. A literal piano fell from the sky and dropped on his head, presumably killing him. Then the camera panned out, showing us the creator of the show, Chuck Lorre, sitting there in his directing chair, only for a piano to drop on his head too. It was bizarre, it felt out of place, didn't make any sort of sense in terms of the story and the characters of the show, didn't add to the story or characters of the show, so why do it? Simply to have a go at Charlie Sheen, it seems. And to top it all off, it wasn't funny.
Look out! Oops.
Final show on this list, House of Cards. The final season of House of Cards was a show in trouble. After Kevin Spacey was fired from it, rightfully so, the makers of the show had to scramble together a final season. The problem is that Kevin Spacey's character was the lead character of the show, and he was so integral to the ongoing storylines and the other characters in the show. So when House of Cards returned, it couldn't just ignore it and pretend that he was gone. No. It had to address it somehow. But in the process, it couldn't continue any of the established storylines leading up to that point either, because they were all revolving around him. The result was a shortened season that put so much focus on a character that wasn't even there. In the process, it changed the motivations and the destinies of almost every other character and storyline in the show.
All this presumption made for such an unsatisfying ending, and to think it could have been such a memorable send-off.
How did it end though? Well, in the final scene it's revealed that Michael Kelly, who plays Kevin Spacey's best friend, in fact killed Kevin Spacey's character. Why? Because he didn't want Kevin Spacey's character to ruin his own legacy. Yeah, a little odd. I think there's also the argument that Kevin Spacey ruined that character's legacy.
I know what you want. You want me back. Of course, some believed everything and had just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy if it was all so simple?
Then what followed that is that Kevin Spacey's wife in the show, Claire, killed Michael Kelly's character in the middle of the Oval Office. If all that wasn't a hard enough sell, now she has to try and explain to everyone why she killed this guy, how he died if she didn't kill him, and yeah, how's she going to get away with murder right in the middle of her office? And she stabbed him, by the way. There's no denying that she's killed him. She's not going to get away with it. So what happened next? Well, we don't know. The show ended there. Yep, Claire killed Michael Kelly's character, seemingly getting away with murder. Meanwhile, all the storylines building up to that point that were reintroduced this season, still there, meandering. We don't have a clue what happened, basically. It just stopped. Well, that's the worst TV show endings that I've seen ranked. If you've liked this, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _Grant Burton, or you can subscribe to this channel, check out some of my other videos and content, give me a thumbs up, leave some comments and feedback down below, let me know what you think was the worst TV show ending. And until next time, thanks for watching.